The logic for the use of the word game in the title is even more instructive. It says a lot about Fuller's approach to governance and social problem solving. He chose to call his vision a game because he wanted it seen as something that was accessible to everyone, not just the elite few in the power structure who thought they were running the show. Fuller wanted a tool that would be accessible to everyone, whose findings would be widely disseminated to the masses through a free press, and which would, through the groundswell of public vetting and acceptance of solutions to society's problems, ultimately force the political process to move in the direction that the values, imagination, and problem-solving skills of those playing the democratically open world game dictated. That's what our simulation game can do. This was before the internet existed. He saw this notion of completely open problem-solving process where the results would be widely publicized. And this is what the world needs. It needs to see demonstrated that this alternative exists. And it needs to have champions in the entertainment world. I probably should have reorganized these slides a little bit. In 1980, NBC broadcast "If Japan Can, Why Can't We?" This was a wonderful one-time example of going to a place where things were really going well. The quality of Japan's cars were beating us in the marketplace, and the people who went to Japan discovered why those cars were so good. Because the Japanese had been listening to an American management guru for 30 years who taught them how to continuously learn and continuously improve what they were doing. That was W. Edwards Deming. And that show broadcast once. The documentary caught the attention of people at Ford and General Motors. Of course, CEOs changed, which is why Ford and General Motors didn't get the full lesson over 30 years that the Japanese did. And then on the right, we have from the 1998 Emmy Award show, Tom Hanks saying something that just knocked my socks off. And it takes 30 seconds, but this is why I believe he wouldn't be the Jack Warner, but he'd be something approximating the leader of this Hollywood effort to teach America what it needs to know. This is why I think he did it.
Look, we were able to dramatize a period piece, 30 years old, about 40,000 people in every state of the Union working towards one common goal and achieving the impossible. Something so impossible it was considered madness to consider it for thousands upon thousands of years. Imagine what problems we could solve and the ills that we could cure if we chose to live the same way the people of Apollo did in the 1960s. Thank you, and God bless America.
He was just picking up his Emmy for the HBO miniseries From the Earth to the Moon. I don't know if any of you saw it.
It's really like that. It's
But he made that after he made Apollo 13. Same group of people, I believe, Ron Howard and company. He knows what it is to work collectively on a national mission. And he also knows the power of Hollywood to tell these stories. So far, the stories he's told in his movies have mostly been historical. But it doesn't take much to imagine Hollywood telling the story of how we get to that better future, including the struggles. I mean, the story could include World War III. It doesn't have to be Pollyanna. It can show the challenges, but it can also show that we do know how to do it, even if there are people who would fight with the people who want to make such a better world happen. And I mentioned NBC doing that show in 1980. Well, NBC is not just NBC. NBC Universal is NBC, MSNBC, CNBC, but also a bunch of cable channels, including the Sci-Fi Channel. And this is all owned by General Electric. And General Electric is run by Jeffrey Immelt, who was just appointed to Barack Obama's Economic Policy Advisory Task Force. I think that's the way it's called. So from Jeff Immelt down to NBC Universal, down to the Sci-Fi Channel, you have this up and running public service initiative called Sci-Fi Visions for Tomorrow. This is about a minute of their little messages on their website.
Hello, this is a thank you note from the future.
Welcome to Sci-Fi's Visions for Tomorrow, a new public affairs initiative to engage individuals, organizations, and policymakers in exploring creative solutions to today's most pressing concerns. Visionsfortomorrow.net offers a wealth of information on trailblazing nonprofit organizations and other educational materials. This campaign champions a bold, optimistic view of the future and taps into the unique power of science fiction to help us all envision a better world. Today's challenges have the potential to rob us of our spirit, our sense of optimism, our sense of our own personal power. I believe what we need now more than ever is a positive view of the future.
Our world is a better place because you embrace the development of alternative energy sources. Fossil fuels have become obsolete.
Join us and become a leader of change in your community. What's your vision for tomorrow?
Thank you. Thank you.
The power to shape tomorrow is in your hands. Discover how you can help at visionsfortomorrow.net.
They've actually changed the URL. It's now howyoucansavtheworld.com, and it's more blog than anything. But they have a advisory board that is absolutely stellar. The names on it include Chris Anderson, the editor of Wired magazine, Sir Richard Branson, Virgin, Esther Dyson, Mae Jemison, who's the first black female astronaut and also had a guest role on an episode of Star Trek, Dr. Michio Kaku, Dean Kamen, who invented the Segway scooter, Mary McDonnell, the actress from Battlestar Galactica, and John Podesta, who was one of Barack Obama's transition team co-chairs. You never heard about this, right? Anybody? First time, right? Don't ask me why, but it's there. It's about 2 years old, and there's even a report you can download. Try to give you another thing to read, Lou, but it's a report that was produced where all those advisory people were interviewed by some scenario planning experts at an organization called the Global Business Network. And this report is like 85 pages long. I'll be happy to send it to you. And the cover letter of the report is penned by Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. Why? Because A, he knows about economic development being important. B, he knows about the power of science fiction. So he's on board championing this initiative, even though you don't hear him talk about it every day. I think the reason this is still one of the best kept secrets in America is the dots haven't been connected. No one has said, oh my God, the first motion picture unit of World War II. That was an integral part of how we saved our skins from the crisis to pretty much end all crises. But with Bill Clinton saying, where's the hope? And Jeff Immelt on Barack Obama's board, and I got a letter that's almost finished that I'm going to send to Jeff, the guy who runs NBC Universal is Jeffrey, it's another Jeff. Zucker. Thank you very much. Who I bumped into at a conference a couple of weeks ago, as is my habit. I go to a lot of these things, and he was on a panel, and I was able to get 5 seconds with him. And I mentioned this initiative to him. And I said, you guys got a pot of gold here. And he said, yeah, we probably could be doing more with it. So.
I'm a little skeptical, because when a corporation's into something, they're looking for what they're going to get out of it. I would really say, hey, this is great if he took a pay cut and maybe only made $2 million a year instead of what he's making today, and that would be great to hear what he has to say. But, you know, and since it's been 2 years, you kind of tend to wonder what really is going on. But, you know, it doesn't say we shouldn't be trying, we should always push the envelope to get to where one day we need to show people there are alternatives to out there.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest with you. My tracking on the entertainment and media and world landscape right now is that while some movies are still making money, and we got the Academy Awards tonight, there's not much money being made right now